Time travel is one of the most popular ideas in science fiction. From shows like The Flash, The Stages of Tomorrow, Men in Black, Miracles, and Dragon Ball Z, we are constantly noticing characters jumping through time, changing events, and somehow, they are still existing. But when you actually slow down and examine how time travel should work, it doesn't make sense. This I'm going to explain to you why time travel cannot exist. I'm breaking down the three models of time: simultaneous timeline, continuous timeline, and the branching timeline. And show why each one of them is fundamentally flawed. Now, the first model of time travel is what I call the simultaneous time. In this model, past, present, and future all exist at the same time. So now, in this model, time isn't really flowing. It's not like a straight line where every moment already exists at a fixed point. It means that if you go back in time, you can't really change anything because what you change actually happened when the past originally occurred. Let me give you an example. In this Legends of Tomorrow, reporter accidentally tells Vanda Savage the name of his wife and child. But it's because of the names that reporter told Vanda Savage and he was actually able to kill them. Meaning that if reporter didn't go back and tell Vanda Savage the name of his wife and child, Vanda Savage would have been able to kill them. But in the original time when a reporter was from, Vanda Savage killed them. That timeline is simultaneous, that Vanda Savage telling them was meant to happen. So basically, he didn't change history, he actually completed it. So under this model of simultaneous timeline, time travel is possible, but paradoxes won't exist. And free will really doesn't exist either, because everything you were meant to do has already happened. Meaning that you can't really choose to change time, because you going back in time is actually completing time. So actually, under this model, time travel should really be encouraged, because some people might have destinies that's really not in the time that they are from. So now, but the problem is the Legend of Tomorrow that I used as an example, they didn't even stick to this rule because they constantly change time. So they're actually contradicting themselves. We're not here to talk about Legends of Tomorrow, we're here to talk about the timeline. So now the second model is called the continuous timeline. Here, time doesn't all exist at once. It's more like a straight line that is actually unraveling. So the past is happening, the present exists, and the future does not yet exist. Now think of it as a straight line that's currently being drawn. The present point that is like at the end of the line, and it's constantly stretching out to make the future. Meaning that you couldn't have gone back in the past before you existed. But now that you exist, you can go back and change things. But however, you can't travel to the future because, as I said, the future doesn't exist yet. Okay, so now the continuous timeline is making sense. But let's give an example. You're in 2025 and you just built your new time machine. I say, okay, I want to go back 4 years to 2021 to see my mom or something. But the moment you arrive in 2021, you have changed something. Just by being there, your presence there is actually changing something. And as you said, the timeline has fixed points, but you being there is actually changing that fixed point. And since your universe, since your own timeline originated through another fixed point that is now being erased, you can't exist anymore because you are changing the fixed points in the timeline. So the moment you arrive in 2021, you're basically deleting yourself from existence. Meaning that under this continuous time travel model, anytime you go back in time, you're basically erasing the future and yourself too with it. So now, but shows you watch, they go back in time and change something. So for this to work, they have to be using a branching timeline. So now a branching timeline is a timeline where when you go back in time, the future you're creating splits off. Meaning that the future that you came from and the future that you are creating now exist simultaneously as different timelines. So now this time travel model was famously seen in Dragon Ball Z, when future Trunks go back in time to save Goku. But when he goes back to his own time, Goku is dead. But why is Goku dead in my ask? So that's because Trunks didn't actually save Goku in his own timeline. When he saved Goku, he created a new timeline. And this model also explains why when Goku visits the future, he goes to Trunks' future, not his own. That's because Goku's future hasn't happened yet, but Trunks' future has happened yet. Because, as I said, it's a branching timeline. But the branching timeline in this situation is also continuous too, meaning that Goku is in the present, and if he goes to the future, he can't go to the future because the future has not yet formed yet. It's Trunks' future that's formed yet. I think we understand what this is. So now, okay, so far this model, it seems like it's working. I actually think it's working too. But now let me introduce you to a concept I came up with myself, and I'm actually very proud of this concept. It's called the infinite branching concept. So now, let's say your entire room. You step into your time machine that you just made as usual, and you go back 10 seconds to the same room. Now you don't interrupt yourself, and you see yourself 10 seconds later about to leave again. This is not a branching time, and this creates a paradox. Because the version of me I see must arrive 10 seconds earlier, but that time was already occupied by me. So it's not me that will appear, my passive will appear. But since we are using a branching timeline, this should not be a problem, right? But actually, it's actually a problem because every version of you who goes back creates another branch at the same point. This means that infinite timelines exist at that same moment, and all futures are equally valid, but no future actually exists. Because I said, you keep on going back and back and back and creating infinite branches, meaning that time itself doesn't make sense. So now, okay guys, I've gone over every single model of time travel I've seen, every show I've watched, simultaneous, continuous, and also branching. But now, for each one of these to work, it requires one of the following: either no free will, erasure of futures, infinite realities, logical contradictions, and so many other. All of them have their own conditions. And because of this, time travel isn't just impractical, it's actually impossible. And the more fiction tries to explain it, the more obvious the flaws become. Flash goes back and makes time. In Flash, he goes back and creates a flashpoint and he tries to fix it. And yet, that still causes a problem in the future, which is looking like a simultaneous timeline. But in this legend of tomorrow, they are constantly changing the past, and there's no implications on the future, which is giving simultaneous timeline. So, for it to make sense, shows usually combine multiple versions of time travel, which should not make sense. As I said, time travel is impossible. So now I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe for more content.